into it though, because I feel like if everyone just keeps pushing as hard as they can at the thing they're interested in, you do wind up with good ideas.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, like Teslas are great, and they've done like great things for, like I'm realistically the faster humanity can transition to electrics or basically transition away from fossil fuels, the better. And so it's like the more interested people with good ideas, the better.
Porsche has developed fuel for their internal combustion engines that is completely clean and it has less environmental impact than electric cars do. They have some
what's the clean? I mean, what do you mean?
Zero idea. I just glanced at this. I read the first paragraph of this new fuel that they've developed. Here it is. Porsche is working on synthetic fuel to make internal combustion cars as clean as EVs. It's a hydrogen-based fuel. Will be ready for testing in 2022, including the new Porsche 911 GT3 Cup race car.
I'm pretty sure that so far, biofuels and things like that haven't really lived up to the hype.
Yeah, that's why they're doing this.
And so, yeah, it is one of those things where you're like, oh, if it totally plays out and it works, then like, great, let's like move forward with it as quickly as possible. But you're kind of like, seems like electricity is probably the better option overall.
Oh, for sure. But in Porsche's defense, they have been at the front lines of making cleaner exhaust fumes to the point where the 911 Turbo, if it moves through, like I saw this on Top Gear, they were saying that if it went through a polluted place, like whether it's downtown LA or Calcutta,
it's making the air cleaner.
The air's cleaner coming out than
that's interesting. Yeah. That's awesome.
It's pretty wild. Yeah.
That's cool.
Their ultimate goal is to develop internal combustion engine fuel that is just completely clean. Dude, so there's no impact.
Speaking of this kind of thing, I did Jay Leno's Garage the other day. Like, I don't know if you ever met him or seen it. Yeah, it's pretty classic.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And did you tour the garage and stuff? I'm like, yeah, it's totally insane.
He's got 11 of those garages, by the way.
Well, what do you mean?
He's got 11 buildings.
Yeah, but they're all connected, right?
But he's got more of them. Like, I don't know if you saw all of them. That guy has the most insane fucking car collection
totally.
I've ever seen in my life.
But yeah, it was definitely the most insane thing I've ever seen because like I don't know any car collectors. I was like, what the fuck? This is insane. But my takeaway from the tour that we had from one of his his helpers basically gave us this pretty cool tour of the garages, and he said it was something like 160-something cars, 180-something motorcycles, and it's like through all of human history. It's like from 1890 type or like 1905. But my takeaway was that there were so many interesting false starts and sort of dead ends in technology where you have like a steam engine car, and then the ones that I keep thinking about are the 1950s like jet turbine cars.
Yes.
They were like cars with jets in them from the 50s.
Yeah.
When like turbine engines were like a cool new thing for aerospace, and they're like, let's do it in a car. And you're like, well, that obviously didn't play out because I've never seen like a jet car going by me on the highway. But I think it's cool that humans have explored so many different avenues like that. It's like when you have a new technology, you kind of have to try every different version of it and like see what actually works.
Henry Ford had made hemp fenders and hemp-bodied cars in the early 1900s.
It's kind of too bad that didn't take off.
Fucking yeah, and where he literally there's a demonstration where he's bouncing a hammer off of them. Because if you ever fucked with hemp, you ever like felt
I eat it a little bit.
Yeah, the wood itself it's incredible. Where it's really light like balsa wood, but it's really hard like this table.
Interesting.
It's hard like oak, but really light.
Huh.
And when they can make like hempcrete, like a concrete with like ground up hemp that is supposed to be incredibly fire resistant, really has high insulation values. But for cars, like I don't know why it didn't take off. Probably because of the problems with marijuana illegalization back then.
Totally.
You needed a tax stamp to grow hemp in the 1930s because of the prohibition. But they developed this, and there's a cool video of him demonstrating the durability of these fenders. I think it's a Model T, and he's got a fucking hammer, and he's bouncing it off of this fender. See if you can find that, because it's pretty wild to see. But that was one of the false starts of innovation that just for whatever reason,
totally
never kicked back up again
well,
until
or
Lotus.
think of